goes on and on and on. I see that you and Mr. Barr are here at the hearing. Mr. Hill and Mr. Lucas were here as well for their questions. And I know that the four of you were here just to make sure that this is, in fact, my last hearing.
Trust but verify, Mr. Chairman.
Yes. And the gavel will fit all four of you very, very well. And I look forward to seeing the outcome of the steering committee and wish you great good luck, Mr. Huizenga. Thank you for friendship. And gentleman's recognized for
I appreciate it. And let me just start there. I'm not sure how you do it, Mr. Chairman. In fact, I'm not even sure I want to do it. These confounding things around your neck every day, I would have been here 45 minutes ago, but it took me that long to figure out how to change out of my regular tie to this particular tie. So that it is in your honor that I am wearing this bow tie and look like Orville Redenbacher. I'm not sure I'm going to honor you all day and all night. It might end after this hearing, but what I do know is your friendship has been very meaningful to me. By the way, as being a witness, as Ms. Wagner was talking about, to those candid banters that we would have at the leadership table, having sat at that leadership table now for 10 years, 6 of those with you. I know that your style of leadership depends on those of us helping you make decisions, be candid, and I've appreciated the opportunity to serve alongside you and be a part of some very major, significant issues that we've dealt with as a committee. So I know you've got great things ahead as well. I'm going to ask Mr. Ward a question, but first, before I do that, I had the opportunity to meet the young man behind Mr. Ward a little earlier, who's probably cringing with a little embarrassment right now, but I know the pride of a father, but I just want to let Austin know what your dad is doing here is for your benefit. That's what we're all trying to do here. We are trying to make the United States an even better place for you and your generation and maybe even whatever grandkids you might deliver later on to your dad and your mom. We're here for that, and you ought to be proud of your dad and what he's doing. I know he travels a lot and he's gone a lot and those kinds of things that might be a little tough sometimes, but he's doing this because of you, and we're so glad that you're here today with him to witness this. It's maybe a little boring, but it's really important stuff, so we're glad you're here. And by the way, if anybody takes 30 seconds and talks to this young man, we're probably all going to be working for him at some point in life. So, Mr. Ward, I know you kind of got cut off a little bit on an earlier question about expanding ownership opportunities through retirement. I want you to address that, but I also want you to address sort of the recent efforts from the SEC who have sought to curtail venture in private markets more broadly rather than bolster them, and how would constraining access to private markets, venture capital harm and impact innovation in the country? And I do want to put a little note of caution. I know my colleague from Illinois has walked out, but we're throwing around unsophisticated investor definitions a little too loosely, in my opinion, around into the microphone, because based on what it currently means is you're just not rich enough. All right, because there's plenty of rich idiots out in this world, and there's a lot of wise middle class and on their way up that ladder types of folks who I would rather put my checkbook in their hands than in the hands of these quote unquote qualified investors. And so we need to make sure that we are actually distinguishing between those two things. But Mr. Ward, please.
Congressman, thank you. And I'd also like to thank you and Congressman, Chairman McHenry. I started CARTA 11 years ago. I started coming to DC 5 years ago. And the two of you were the first to open your doors to me as an entrepreneur and hear my story. So I want to thank you for myself on behalf of all entrepreneurs for your support. Speaking of entrepreneurs and supporting them, one of the areas that I think we can be super helpful to entrepreneurs and the employees that employ entrepreneurs is this concept of private stock being allowed to be used in retirement accounts. So one of the problems young employees face when they work for a venture-backed or private equity-backed company is their two main sources of net worth are usually their 401k account or an IRA, as well as the private stock that they hold. The problem is both are illiquid for them. So if they want to access the liquid stock, because of ERISA rules, it has to be liquid investments. They can't access it because it's a retirement, it's a deferred tax vehicle, it's a long duration vehicle. But if they want to access liquidity in that private stock, they can't access it either because it's private and they have to wait maybe 10 or 12 years for liquidity. And the ability to move some of that private stock into a tax advantage vehicle where that you can match the duration of the stock to the duration of the retirement account and then pull some of the current account liquidity will provide a lot of liquidity, current account liquidity for these employees that they today cannot access.
And I've got so many more questions. I do have one other duty, which, though, Mr. Chairman, is to, without objection, submit some letters of congratulations regarding your tenure here from the Crypto Council for Innovation, the Digital Chamber, and the Blockchain Association. And I just, again, want to say this just seemed cool but inadequate, which is why I dared to snatch this off the neck of one of my staffers. And venture out with the new look. I don't know if I'm going to adapt this as a permanent look for you in your memory, but I'm glad to be doing it and just deeply appreciate your friendship.
Well, thank you. Thank you for the indulgence. And I thank you for your friendship.